the linchpin for a lot of this is going to be tied to the new ship. And that is our Gorn Eviscerator, which is our newest specialty ship. It is an Ops 40 level ship. Starts out power scale, looks like it's about similar, a little less than a Monavine, a little more than a Jellyfish, if we go by shipyard level. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so weaker than an NX-01 base strength, but obviously it's going to have shields, which are a nice bonus. But yeah, this is kind of, I mean, stronger than the other specialty ships by far, which will actually, it actually does have some teeth to do some fighting with. Good attack value, decent other stats between health and defense. It's got 2 bonuses here. Increases isolytic damage against Gorn hunters by 200%, so you're doing a lot more damage to Gorn. It's going to make killing them a lot easier. Going to make that grind a lot easier for you to do if you have this ship. Also increases the amount of Apex isomatter gained when defeating Gorn hunters by 5,000%. Now let's go take a quick peek at those guys, because I will give them credit for this particular time around. This was good design. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to fight Gorn. Wrong group. Wrong group. Abort. Forgot what I was doing for a second. So after putting out, what, like 7 new loops in 10 months or something ridiculous like that, and listening to us complain and complain and complain that we are tired of all these new loops, we are tired of all these new loops, we are tired of all these new loops, stop giving us new loops, haven't you heard that we're tired of them? This particular time around, instead of creating another loop or making the mistake that they made with the NX-01 content over here, where they, oh, we're just going to throw these little token locked systems off of here instead, and now you'll have to use the specialty new ship only to kill these things. They actually made this very player friendly, where the Gorn that you were already killing to do your isomatter exchange, to get your Enterprise E and Voyager officers, to get your artifact pieces, or possibly to even get additional resources, this stuff right here, this volatile isomatter that you were already claiming, all they did was just tack onto that. So now instead of dropping 1 currency, these hostiles will drop 2 currencies. And that is great. You'll use the 2nd currency in the same spot, just a different click here of the refinery. This one is not tied to your ops level, as you can see. It is tied to the level of your Gorn Eviscerator. This particular one, I claimed it this morning, but I did save some screenshots, so let me pull them up real fast. So this is what my refinery looks like at Tier 1. You get 2 Apex Recruit shards, 100 Apex ship parts. These are both for additional refinery pulls that only become available once you have the new ship. So there's the caveat. You can get the materials now, you just can't spend them until you get the new ship. You also get Eviscerator parts to help you level up your Gorn Eviscerator. So again, might as well pull these now, get a nice little surplus and stockpile, so in, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever it is, that we get the Gorn Eviscerator actually unlocked free to play, you've already got a nice big surplus, and you can take that thing up right through, Tier 4, Tier 5, or whatever the case is going to be. And you also get, this is the new forbidden tech. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Cephalocask, I think is what we're going with. which we'll look at in just a minute there. But this is what you're getting right here, and the currency, one chest is 500, two chests is 1500, so it's buy two for the price of three, or buy three for the price of five, which is kind of similar to how sourcing ship blueprints in like the away team store and a lot of other places. This is kind of the scaling that we see, so nothing overly dramatic and out of place there. And I did go ahead and screenshot my actual pull. I did a two chest pull because I had 1500 currency, and I got, you know, this was standard, this was standard, this was standard and fixed, and I got a 1 and a 2 of the forbidden tech pull. So if I get consistently 2 to 3 a day there, let's go look at our forbidden tech here for a second. What does this take to unlock? Where's our new... It is a forbidden tech, isn't it? Is it an artifact? I thought it was a forbidden tech. Maybe it's an artifact. And I'm just wrong. It's an artifact? Okay. Well, scratch what I just said. It's an artifact. So, Cephalocask. This is actually going to get unlocked a lot earlier then. Good, because Forbidden Tech would take weeks to unlock. If you're getting 2 to 3 a day of this thing, already combined with it being reduced from your eye, making your artifacts cheaper, I thought it was a forbidden tech. I apologize. I was wrong. This one's going to boost isolytic defense for all your ships in PvP, starting at 30%, giving you 30% isolytic damage defense. That's a nice little start, and then it's going up about 10 per level for quite a ways here. And if you can source a couple of these per day, and again continue to level up your Great Eye of Aura here, which will continue to make your other artifacts cheaper, everybody's going to get some solid isolytic defense rolling pretty quickly for themselves. So there was a research with the Gorn Eviscerator parts. Well, that's the other thing too, is that there is specific research for the Gorn ship itself. Thanks for pointing that out, Jimmy. Let's go take a look at that. Other things you can do with your Gorn Eviscerator parts should be in the Starship tree, because I think they got a new addition out here. This increases volatile isomatter gained with the Borg Eviscerator. So again, this is boosting what the ship will give you, an additional bonus. So the ship gives you more of the second material. This research is going to boost you getting more of the first material. Scaling up quite a bit, restricted by R&D building level, so nothing tied to the tier of the ship. Your restriction here is based on your R&D building. And this one right here with research is going to boost the warp range of the ship, but it's not boosting it a whole lot. You can go up to an additional 120%. And hang on. I feel like this ship does not have the best warp range, even with said research. I feel like that's been one of the knocks on it today. Let's go down here and look at our warp range. The summoning ability itself is all kinds of wonky. Okay, so the warp range on it, not the greatest until you get it considerably up to 9, 10, 11, like in this range, which point in time, you know, you're well into, it's catching up to being where you are as a G5 player, and your G5 rare ships and things already have this type of warp range. And then obviously here's where you're getting into G6 territory, and it's got much higher. So not the greatest warp range. You add on another potentially, 50 to 100 from research to some of these numbers in here, and it gets a little better. But it's still not reaching a whole lot of places out there in the galaxy. And then as far as blueprints acquisition, it is 200 blueprints to acquire the new ship, which, depending on what we get from the new event, if it's like the Cerritos event and it's just, hey, here's 10 a week, then we're talking about 20 weeks to acquire it, which puts you at about, what, 5 months? Which isn't bad for a free-to-play sourcing path. It's a little more expensive, a little more time-consuming than some of the other ships we've gotten. Maybe not as time-consuming or expensive, or as lengthy rather, as some other specialty ships. It'd kind of be somewhere in the middle, if that's the case. Hopefully it's more than 10, but if they are going to do it as a weekly Cerrito-style event, I don't see them doing it like, here's 25 a week and you'll have the thing in 8 weeks. Because then I don't think they'll sell very many of them. I think if it's 10 a week and it's a 20-week wait period in time, I feel like they might sell a few more. More players might want to not wait around 4.5 to 5 months to get that extra refinery unlocked. This is a separate research that also boosts volatile isomatter. So this is basically, they're both boosting the same thing, but one requires you to have the Gorn ship, and it's based on what tier the Gorn ship is, and the other one is just based on ops level. So there's two researches, so they're both boosting the same thing. So that way when you're out here in this deep space, and you're killing these things and you're getting your volatile isomatter, now you're going to be getting extra, even more on top of it. So it's going to drastically cut down your grind time by having the new ship, as well as giving you a huge amount of this additional currency now, which you could need up to, several thousand a day. Which, if we're looking here, I mean, I'm getting 17 per kill, even with, let's take a look. So what do I got right now? Even with Picard and data for a little extra loot boost, I've got 136. I'm killing this level 56 right here. This is supposed to get me 17. Instead, it got me, what, 34? So basically it doubled it. But again, if I need 500 to 1,500, realistically I want to do 1,500 a day. That's a lot of kills coming out here and grinding Gorn hostiles. So the new ship would drastically cut that time down. Or I would just have to go back to doing like single chest pulls at 500 apiece and choose to prioritize my own time instead. If I can get enough of the main loot here, the volatile isomatter, so I can keep pulling in my officers and my artifacts and things like that. That one I need. I'm trying to think. I want to say it's like 15. I spend about 12,000 a day. Because my double chest pulls, I think, are about 5,000 a piece. So it's 5, 10, and then I think it's like 1,500 because I only single pull the resource one because it's way too polarizing with what's in there. Way too hit or miss. So I think I only do a single chest pull on that one. So I spend about 12,000 a day. So while I'm out here getting my 12,000 volatile isomatter that I need, any of the extra, what's this one called? Apex isomatter. Okay, volatile and apex. I'm going to get those right at some point today. So, let me catch up on chat here. There's a research thing. You can only port someone to their max native level of their level. Yes, that's the other part of the issue. In terms of summoning people, So if you are a G4 player, you can't go, I can't warp you to a system above like level 50. Because there are level 50 systems in G4 space. So I can warp you to a level 50 system. And I could even warp you to these level 50 systems. But the instant I try and warp you to a 52 system, you will get the error when you try and click on the portal that says you must be Ops 50 or above to use this. And same thing would be for other Ops people in different periods too. So there are some restrictions with the Gorn summoning ability, which is why I feel like that's going to take a backseat, right? That's not going to be overly practical or useful. So either you're just going to use it for the disco jump ability that it has itself, because it can summon, it jumps itself and then can summon other people, very much like the Discovery. But obviously it hits a lot harder and has a little more muscle to it. So you could jump yourself, and instead of summoning your battleship to the fight, just use your Eviscerator. Um, I don't know what it's going to look like in terms of power level when it gets up there. Maybe we'll get some screenshots over the next day or two of some people who have their Eviscerators up, 5, 6, 7 tiers. If you're people who are, buying packs and spending on stuff to get it upgraded. But I think the most universal appeal to the Gorn Eviscerator is going to be with the new refinery and trying to source some of these new officers faster, so you can get Mbenga and get the Kirk boys and get Pelia and Chapel unlocked and tiered up faster is probably going to be the bigger benefit to most people with the ship. If you are someone who is struggling to kill Gorn, perhaps because you don't have Picard or Data or Janeway, the officers who do isolytic damage, or a Monavine that also does isolytic damage, then it may have additional value to you uh, in terms of being able to complete these loops on a more consistent basis without as much time involvement, without as much resources spent flying back and forth and hull damage and all that stuff. So, another Apex to remember. Yeah, more Apex stuff. I don't know why they didn't call it something different, but yeah. What's the path going to look like? Yeah, it's going to look like, we don't know exactly how many weeks it's going to be. We don't know what day of the week it's going to run, but it's supposed to run every week, very much like the Cerritos event does on Wednesdays. That's the only spoiler tidbits that's been passed out about it. It's like, oh, it'll be sourced through a weekly event, similar to the Cerritos. So who knows what that really means. So it's very much like the Mantis cut and paste, and that's another good example for it too. The Mantis was more so about the refinery for sourcing the first Strange New World officers. Um, Helpful for some players, lower level players, or the first few levels, in terms of getting the materials from actually killing the hostiles. But once you reach a higher level point, usually around Ops 46 or so, a lot of times you switch over and start using other ships with bigger cargo capacity instead of your Mantis to kill those hostiles. One BP per week for 200 weeks. Yeah. I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be anything less than 10. 8 at the absolute bare minimum, right? Because even that's pushing it. 8 is definitely not enough, all right? Let's just make that clear. Let's just make that very clear. Lube said 12 weeks. Yeah, I mean he's speculating. At 12 weeks, they have to give you 16 per week. I think I did that, and then you come up with like 192, so you come up just short. And then you need another week after that, which would be 13 weeks, which sounds right on par because that's how they did the sourcing for. Oh God, what ship was that? Is it the Discovery? One of the ships in Cosmic Cleanup. It's not here right now. One of the ships in Cosmic Cleanup. Oh, it's the amalgam, right? They gave you 8 per week. 8 times 12 was 96 shards, and you need 100 to unlock the ship. So you came up 4 short and had to wait 1 extra week to get that other half bundle. So, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do 16 shards per week, and it'll take 13 weeks to unlock the ship, because we'll need that extra week to get the rest of the materials there. And then it's amalgam sourcing all over again. So, Lloydson says, I thought I heard the Battle Pass would have some. Don't, I didn't see that. And I see some Gorn materials down here, but I don't see any ship blueprints. And I don't think there's any in the $100 pack, which would be where they would put them. It would be in the elite pack, right? And that's usually where they just put officers. So there's 20 Kirk shards in here along with a bunch of other randomness. But no, I don't see any additional ship blueprints there. So if you want the ship today, Gorn Eviscerator launch special, you spend your $100, you get all 200 blueprints. You also get an extra 10 of each of the Kirk Boys shards. This will go away tomorrow. It will be replaced most likely, again, most likely, with a pack that has the exact same stuff in it, except the officer shards. Maybe they'll leave James in here and take Sam away. But this is your, for buying it now special, you'll get both 10 of these. Tomorrow, when this goes away, maybe neither, maybe one of them will stay. Can't say for certain. But so that is your new ship. I don't know if we have screenshots yet. I know there's some charts and stuff. Let me see if I can find if anybody's put up any screenshots of like the new refineries and what they look like. Well, here's a chart from earlier today. So the Apex recruits, which I got like 2 of, whatever. 1 chest costs 10, so probably only opening 1 or 2 of these per week. And then again, your chances of getting a rare officer are better than an epic, and your chances of getting multiple shards per pull. So again, it's gonna be very similar to what you're getting now out of the Voyager and Enterprise E officers out of the Isomatter chest for the Gorn Refinery currently. I know there's a lot of days where I get like 1 Tom Paris and 1 B'Elanna Torres shard, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Or 1 Carrie Kim and 1 Neelix or whatever it is in there, and I'm okay with that because it's sourcing and I'm moving forward with these officers, and I can pull 1 every day with how I'm able to acquire loot and things like that. Based on what I'm seeing here, though, in terms of cost, you can probably do a single chest pull every other day, maybe. Maybe as you get to being able to kill higher level Gorn, or if you have the Eviscerator and you're able to do more Refinery pulls, you'll start getting 2 and 3 chests a little more consistently. You also get additional, it looks like. Oh, as you tier up the ship, this number goes up. Okay. Yeah, so at tier 1 you're getting 2 per chest pull, which is not a lot. You're getting 4 to 6 per day. But as you start to tier up the actual ship, these numbers do go up pretty consistently. So when you get the ship up to tier 6, tier 7, now you're starting to get, a better number of them, and you're going to start being able to do some of these 2 chest pulls per day. And then eventually when you get all the way up here into, G5, G6 ranking with it, you're going to be able to maybe do some 3 chest pulls once in a while, or 2 chest pulls very consistently. I should actually read the whole chart. It might make my life a little easier. All these officers are good, so it's not like you're getting bad officers there. The sourcing is going to be slow with them through the first couple tiers of the ship, which again, big benefit to even players who are waiting on that free-to-play path and they're going to grind the ship out over the next X number of weeks. Keep doing your isomatter pulls so you get these parts. So you have them stocked up so you can jump up multiple tiers of the ship and get right to starting to get to some of these better numbers. Get some more of these artifact shards. Get some more of these additional parts out of your refinery to then accelerate your growth further on. So the other thing you get in here then is also your ship parts. Now the ship parts, this is going to have a little bit of a problem for some higher level players. I'm sure are going to be a little annoyed by this because it's tied to the tier of the ship. So the first 6 tiers are paying you out G4 ship parts. So if you're a high G5 or a G6 player, you have to get your Gorn Eviscerator to tier 7 before it starts giving you G5 ship parts. And you're like, I don't want this crap. Well, you got to get through 6 tiers of the ship before you stop getting it. But once you get to tier 7 through 12 here, now you're starting to source some of the G5 parts. G5 commons, G5 uncommons, eventually G5 rares at tier 10. If you're looking for G4 rares, you got to get to at least tier 4 to start getting those. And that's going to take a little while, to do the sourcing and stuff there. So whether you're buying the ship today or not, it really behooves you and benefits you to keep doing the Apex Isomatter refines, even just to start slowly accumulating some of this currency. Let's see, what did I get right there? I did one hull trip, and I probably got about 15, I didn't look exactly what my cargo numbers were, but I probably got about 16, 17, well, I got 20,000 total, so I probably got about 17 or 18,000 of the volatile isomatter, and then probably about another, 900 or 1,000 or so Apex, I guess. Which would be enough to do a single chest pull, but if I wanted to a double pull, I'd have to go back and make a second trip. Currently. I could also try ranking down and hitting 53s, switching out an officer to get, maximizing my loot potential with 5 of 11 on the side and making sure the doctor's below deck, going like full loot crew and punching down a system. Could actually be more beneficial than trying to hit things my own level in terms of sourcing both of these new currencies. So Where can you get that chart? Where did I find this? Where did I find this? This is in DJ's, someone posted this in DJ's chat. Let me copy and paste it. Copy image. I will put this on my Discord. And obviously this is the first draft. Or I'll put it back up on screen, and if you want, you could just take a screenshot of it right now for the next 5-10 seconds while I leave it up there. Just do a snippet. Hopefully you're not on your phone. Well, I don't know, take a screenshot on your phone. And then you can refer back to it later. So, and then obviously as time goes on over the next few days, some of these other numbers for costs will get filled in. Yeah, and obviously you'll need more time, Timmy, doing it that way. If you're punching down, you'll spend more time flying around chasing circles. Or triangles, rather. Flying in circles, chasing triangles. Unless you bought the new tech, and then you can queue up a bunch of hostiles. Yeah. You are absolutely welcome. It's a lot of ship tiers. Yeah, it's a 15-tier ship. It's supposed to go from Ops 40 at Tier 1 all the way up to Tier 15 at Ops 65. So it's another one of those hybrid ships that is going to spawn through multiple generations of gameplay, which is good because at least these specialty ships these days now aren't just one and done kind of things that are collecting dust in your hangar or only being pulled out for rare, random occasional events. They actually are continuing to grow with the player, so they could still function in a secondary capacity. So